I started my journey with Jim's Test and Tag back in 2008 as a franchisee, one of the first in New Zealand. Back then, the legislation pretty much said, don't kill anyone, and that's your electrical safety sorted. We've seen a lot of changes since then, and the legislation has caught up, and many businesses now are more conscious of what they need to do to ensure that their workplaces are safe. And electrical safety is a big part of that. Through my journey, I've seen that companies are learning more and more about what they need to do, and it's helping us to engage with them as franchisees and technicians out in the field. What I found with Jim's Test and Tag was it was a fantastic support network, and it wasn't just going out and operating a business by myself. What I found was there was always someone I could call or resources that I could look up if I needed to find an answer for something or get an answer for a question that I didn't have the answer for. That network expanded right across from New Zealand right through to Australia if it got down to the really tricky stuff. When I started my business, I reckon I made every mistake possible. As a new business owner, I had all this freedom of time. I had nobody looking over my shoulder, wondering what I was doing at every minute of every day. I'll be honest, I learnt the hard way of what not to do with starting your own business. It was the franchise system that pulled me back in line, and following the processes that were put in place and talking with the people that had gone before me, made similar mistakes, certainly made my business a lot stronger. It took me a few months to get used to it, but once I got my head around it and realised that I really needed to use the franchise system for all it was worth, my business really started to take off. What I found, once I actually started looking after my customers and following that franchise system, what I found was the repeat business came. In our industry, the companies in different levels have got different frequencies that they need to test their equipment. And what I found was the little construction clients that were pretty easy to get at the front end, 3 months later, they wanted me to come back again. And that was fantastic. And it was a really boost of my own confidence as well. As I moved into larger clients, my work schedule certainly got a lot busier. But I made a real effort not to forget those smaller construction, the smaller businesses that really helped get my business going. One of the key aspects that made things a whole lot easier was as we brought more and more franchisees on around the country, we could start talking to larger businesses. And as we started to talk to them, we would find they had sites throughout the country. And it was great to be able to go to them and say, look, we can look after you in all of the different areas. And certainly now we have full nationwide coverage, and there's no part of the country that we can't get to. One thing I found a real value when I was looking at joining Jim's Test and Tag was getting on the phone and talking to existing franchisees. Being able to talk to people that had no vested interest as to whether I joined the business or not really made a difference. It's one thing having someone who was looking to sell you a franchise tell you how wonderful it is, but to actually hear it from people who have gone through the same process that I was going through and hearing what worked for them, and ultimately they'd made the decision to join the team. I found that of huge value, and I'd certainly recommend that anyone looking at any business talk to people that are already in it and find out what they have to say about it. As you look at this opportunity, I'd really take the time to make sure it's the right thing for you and take the time to work out what's important for you. Any business opportunity or any new venture that you look at, it's got to fit in with your lifestyle, what your plans are now and in the future, and make sure that you're going to be able to achieve those goals. What I found really helpful with this process was going through a business plan and a cash flow projection. That was something that I'd never done before. The business plan allowed me to get my thoughts down onto paper and then actually have others have a look at it and see if they were clear and achievable. The cash flow projection gave me the confidence that in my first year I was going to be able to put food on the table, that I was going to be able to have the bills paid, and that my expectation for my return on investment wasn't unreasonable. I'd certainly recommend going through this process because it really helps give some clarity as to what's important to you and what you want to achieve. As you go through this process, I strongly recommend really getting to know your franchisor. Find out what's important to them and find out the team that they've built to date, and make sure that it's a good fit for what you're looking for. Go through and talk to existing franchisees and go through the business plan and the cash flow projection. I know for myself it was the largest amount of money that I'd ever looked to invest other than a house, and going through that process gave me the confidence that what I was doing was the right thing. And it's really important that for each individual person looking at this opportunity that it is right for you. We want to ensure that every franchisee is successful in this business, and not everybody's right for this business. But I strongly recommend going through that process. You're going to be able to learn a little bit about yourself and learn a little bit about what's important for you. Certainly looking forward to seeing you come through the training and joining the team.
Need it done, Jim's the one.